How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Master Beer Reviews, back to get another review, and a little bit of, culinary-esque kookiness, as is what typically Carton does. Carton kookiness, let's go that way, in the form of their Gilded Lilly. From what I can tell, just by reading the front of the can, might learn more on the side, is it is a triple ale. I assume it's a Belgian-style triple with truffles. So it's as they put it, a Tripel. It's kind of hard to say, but works for me. Anyway, let's dive into it. Just start talking and stuff. Gilded Lilly, Tripel. It's a triple ale brewed with honey, and white truffles. 10.6% alcohol by volume. So she be a session beer. On the side here, it says there are aromatics more corruptly appealing. Let's start from the beginning of that one. Are there any aromatics more corruptly appealing than the suspect of waft of dirt and sex that is the heart of fresh white truffles? Not the fake, pretty perfumey and ubiquitous these days. He's kind of going the truffle oil realm right there. But the approach and avoidance of primitive reaction to the heady scent of something that was secretly thriving just below the fused oil and early morning moments of late fall. Gilded Lilly looks at take those beauty of classic triple and step further by stitching it a little bit with white truffles leather to the edges of the beer's luxurious drape. The pull of a touch of kink peeling from a lovely silk robe. Drink Gilded Lilly because a little hint of dirty makes it all the more alluring. So what you have here, like I said, it's a triple. Okay, and then there's honey. I assume it's just they're using like honey as like a Belgian candied sugar thing, kind of, with the triple. Add a little bit of sweetness to it because truffles can be overpowering with truffles. He talks about truffles and sex in here. If you've watched or listened to his podcast at all, he talks about that's what he gets from truffles. For me, truffles is just straight up kind of a BO thing. Sometimes it's a specific kind of BO, so I get the whole sex reference from what he's talking about. But I love food. You know what I mean? I'm not a big... not that I don't like pairing beer with food. I do. But I don't get bonkers with it. But I like the idea of food melding with beer. So Carton has always been something that I've always dug. So anyway. Other than that, Gilded Lily. Gilding the Lily basically means to try to ornament something. Try to make something prettier that is already beautiful. So assuming Augie's kind of foodie background and truffle being the kind of thing for all foodies, so you're basically trying to make the pretty thing already prettier. Carton, it's Carton label, typical stuff, which I dig. On the side here, we just have a bunch of kind of pigs and or hounds, truffle hounds. That's what they are. They look like pigs. And one actually, no one looks like a pig, which pigs can sniff out truffles. And then you have truffle hounds kind of in the woods, kind of go freaking out with a little honey thing, and then a weird kind of Sasquatchy guy in the background playing a flute. Okay. And that'd be that. And a little dude over here with a bucket of something. Anyway. Oh, Shakespeare. That's what it is. Anyway. I'm mumbling now. Let's just crack into it. See what she's got. What am I doing? Give it the classic MBR pour where I just pour it and what happens to beer happens to beer. It's like a lot of people actually take offense at it. They're like, your pours are horrible. I actually go out of my way to just pour it into a glass like this without trying to pour it perfectly because I think that gives you a little bit of feedback on it. Anyway, that's the reason I do that shit. 2 Fingers, Infinite Creaminess. Seems like it's receding pretty quickly. Pretty compact bubble throughout. Sans a couple stragglers. And you know what she looks like? A Belgian triple. How about that shit? Who would have thunk it? Yes, soft haze to it, soft carbonation, nice golden glow. So, she looks the part. Legs for days. See if we can get a nose on her. Whew, okay. Well, newsflash. There's fucking truffles in here. Truffles, there's an inherent sweetness behind it. I assume that's honey or malt. But it's really hard to get past that truffle. Like I said earlier, truffles come off to me in a beautiful way. It's not similar, but it reminds me of B.O. I have a coworker actually that is kind of a hippie, but he's not like a patchouli hippie. He's just a straight up legit hippie kind of guy. But he doesn't care how he smells, so every now and then I have to tell him to take a bath. It kind of reminds me of what he smells like. You know what I mean, a little bit. But that's kind of disgusting. I would not want to eat, drink, or do anything that smells like him, but it's just kind of close enough to where that's what it smells like. And that's kind of the vibes or things he was trying to explain with the whole lead in there. I do get a little bit of a malt base in there, actually. So now that I'm kind of getting a little bit used to that kind of truffle smell, get a little bit of that honey. Nothing too crazy, nothing too sweet, but honey inherently isn't too sweet if it's not super refined or anything like that. And a generic kind of maltiness behind it. So, yeah. She smells like a truffle beer. Not just a beer with truffles in it, but truffle beer. Let's see if she tastes like a truffle beer. Cheers. Okay. The first thing I immediately got was like a paint thinner kind of vibe. That's the alcohol. That's the honey. That's the truffle. It's the first initial taste I get. It was paint thinner. I bet you if I take a sip again, I'm not going to get it though. Yeah, I still kind of get a paint thinner, that kind of acetone, kind of like nail polish remover kind of thing. That's the first thing I get off there. It's very apparent too. But it's not necessarily like an alcohol thing. I think it's a combination of that honey, which I can get that a little bit from honey beers every now and then, but it's very subtle. I think it's the ABV in a combination of the truffle and the truffle oil kind of vibes going on in there. I'm not super put off by it because I know where those flavors are coming from, and so it's not necessarily like, oh my god, I'm getting like a paint thinner thing. It reminds me of that. But it's not putting me off because I know I'm like, okay, you're not actually tasting or drinking paint thinner. You're just kind of thinking paint thinner based off of all the combination of the flavors. Once you get past that initial paint thinner vibe, there's just creamy, soft, funky fucking truffle all throughout it. There's almost like a slick kind of oil thing going on. I previously said like truffle oil, thinking about it a couple seconds ago. I think that oily kind of greasy vibe is from the honey. I get that in honey beers every now and then. So I get a little bit of sweet honey. I get a little bit of kind of greasy, kind of buttery, not buttery in taste, but buttery kind of texture from the from that honey. And you combine that with the truffle oil being funky and dirty, and there's a little bit of sweetness from the beer itself. I'm sure it's pretty big, but it's just being hid by all those other flavors. It makes for a very interesting beer. It's easy to drink. It's 10%. It's not coming off hot. It's just what that initial acetone kind of paint thinner thing that happens at the beginning of this, while I can get past it, it's probably not my favorite taste. So that's just a fault for me. I don't think a lot of people will get it. I think it's just something that strikes me in a perfect combination with the honey and the alcohol and the truffle. But again, after that initial sip, I can kind of compartmentalize that thing and toss it away and actually enjoy the beer itself. It's a fun beer. Is it a beer I want to drink a ton of? No. Actually, when I originally picked this up, I picked it up and split a 4-pack with my buddy Tom from Brooklyn. You've seen him on reviews before. He sends me beers. I'm really happy that I split it. I wouldn't want to have 4 of these. Saying sharing it with people, that's what this beer is meant for. It's kind of a beer you want to go out and there and just be like, try this, taste this. What do you think of this? This is what this beer screams to me. It's kind of just an experience kind of beer. So I'd love to have more of them, but at the same time, it's not something I'm going to sit there and drink by myself. It's interesting, fun. But again, for me, that kind of big kind of acetone kind of thing at the beginning definitely puts a speed bump at the beginning of the enjoyment ride. I just said enjoyment ride. Sounds like a weird red light district porno store or something like that. Anyway, let's talk about it. Is it one of the better Belgian triples made with truffles and honey that I've had? Yeah, it's the only one I've ever had. Is it one of the more interesting, fun, culinary-based beers I've had? Yes, there's ones that have been better. There's ones from Carton that have been better. But this one is just, like I said, it's an experience beer. It's something to kind of taste and fuck with and just see how your mouth reacts to it kind of beer. And in that sense, it's really fun. Value and availability, it's expensive, but you put in right truffles and shit, it's going to be expensive. I think it was like $20 for a 4-pack, give or take. Brewery only, I believe. And just say if you like, what will you like this? If you like acetone, paint thinner. If you like truffles. If you like interesting beers. If you like BO or sex in your beer, or just in general, just again go back to interesting. It's worth picking up because it's fun. You know what I mean? That's what this beer is meant to be, and that's what it pulls off in spades. So, yeah. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, anywhere in between, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Massive Beers, all one word. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on tap. All the social medias, actually. Just type it in there. Find me in other places. I do a lot of other stuff, beer reviews, so check it out. And there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you enjoyed a nice truffle beer right now, and hopefully see you next time. Cheers.